All right. Good evening. It is SEC After Dark, man. We are back. It's Wednesday night. The national championship has been set. All the bowl games have been played, except for one. And we couldn't be more excited to join you here tonight. The conference basketball schedule kicks off. Georgia actually has won 7 in a row. Vanderbilt has actually won 1 in a row. So that's good.
Nice.
And the
Kermit Davis lost the last game for Ole Miss.
And Tennessee's up number 5 in the nation. So
that means you're undefeated for those keeping score at home. So, like I said, we are SEC After Dark. We're presented by DeadSoxy. If you want to support Ole Miss NIL through purchasing some really comfortable, unique socks, visit DeadSoxy.com. They have all sorts of styles, anything that you want. They have Juice Kiffin socks. They have some that support Quinshon Judkins. It comes in a really, really nice box over Steve's right shoulder, and the brand new scoreboard also over his right shoulder.
Yeah, Jeb.
So
It's been here a year.
So,
Steve people in the chat can know they've seen it.
Yeah, I'm making this up. It's not funny.
Steve has got the delayed reaction on modeling these things for me.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
You got to really
messed me up by talking about the tidbit. I just got that. I've had it for a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Never seen it.
So, walk on to Bama Trot for center. Can't be any worse. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We're gonna hit that, Daniel. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, we're getting there. I just got it. Just let me get through this read. So we've got the crimson and cream. You've got the purple and gold, red, maybe even orange for Jeb. But whatever you want to do, make sure you get a membership, 25% discount. That's a constant thing. You get free shipping, and you get a free gift, which it's you get a Stanley Cup or something like that. I don't know.
But Jason and folks at DeadSoxy, good people. I highly recommend everybody give them business.
So in order to do that, you got to go to DeadSoxy.com now, sign up for a membership, buy yourself some socks. You can get your socks laid out for an entire week. You can buy 2 boxes and have socks 2 weeks at a time and just rotate them. And whatever it's a lot of socks. But you have socks for 2 weeks straight where you don't have to do laundry, and then you just recycle. So DeadSoxy.com.
That's like planned laziness there. I like that.
That's my style, man.
You know what else it is? It's time to get locked on pickles. Stewart's Cajun Pickles, that is. They offer a variety of Cajun spice products like pickles, green beans, okra, even carrots and asparagus. This is a family-owned company. They're homemade on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles has been pleasing pickle lovers for over 20 years now, and they've become the South's favorite pickle. These are truly the best pickles you'll ever have. They have a strong dill flavor with that Cajun punch. No over sour taste, but this being a small business, they strive to keep the produce fresh and local from the start, keeping the final pickle product extra crisp and crunchy. You can find these pickle products online at pickledstore.com or at your local Rouse's Market along the Gulf Coast or local southern stores near you. Be sure to like Stewart's Cajun Dill product on Facebook and Instagram. Try these new pickles, okra, or beans today. You will not be disappointed. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, the South's favorite pickle.
Steve, a score just flashed over your right shoulder that I really enjoyed. That was 63-3. It's gone now. But
I just turned around and saw that Michigan won again, and I was like, "Hey, JJ McCarthy probably has something really takey to take about that game."
It's a takey take. So our bowl pick this evening is going to be presented by BetOnline.ag. If you want to bet it, they have it at BetOnline.ag. If you like casino games, they have those as well. So make sure you visit the site BetOnline.ag. Enter the promo code Bleav, that's BLEAV, to get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Again, that's promo code Bleav, BLEAV, to get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BetOnline.ag. That's where the game starts. So speaking of games starting,
well, let's go to Jeb first, because Jeb got to go to the Citrus Bowl and got to see Nico Iamaleava's debut for the Tennessee Volunteers.
It was a good one.
Good seats, and a heck of a person probably hooked you up with those tickets. But how was it, Jeb? How was it, the Citrus Bowl?
I don't remember where I got the tickets from, but they were great. So no, no, those were a Christmas present from Steve, and it was because the game happened to be right near our house, so it took us about like 45 minutes to get there, and then like 2.5 hours to get home. But that's just how it works. But no, it was a lot of fun. We were down in one of the end zones, right where Tennessee came out and practiced and warmed up, and then unfortunately it was the end zone that most of the scoring didn't happen in, but that's okay. We did. I did get to see Nico rush one touchdown in, but other than that, it was a fun time, great adventure, great time. We got in and out easy. Everything was just I won't say it was all pretty perfect. It's a great day. I got to see some people that Joe Milton apparently went to high school with because they were very excited. Got down right in front of us on the at the gate basically, so he could come over and check their stuff. I tried to get pictures of it, but there were so many mobbing him you couldn't see him. So.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool. I mean, the announcers of the game, for those that saw it on TV, just gave up on Nico's last name about midway through the first quarter or second quarter and started just calling him Nico.
The guy in the stadium wouldn't do that, and everybody around was wishing he would because he was butchering the name.
Yeah.
He would not give up.
The announcers gave their best effort in the first quarter. I remember that because they kept saying, "I am in a la 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 la, Gardenhoser, Rosenbagger."
It is, just so everybody knows, it's Ia Male Lava.
Repeat after me. Ia
Male Lava.
Ia Male.
It ends up being 6
Nico.
syllables. If you're not saying 6 syllables, yeah, Nico.
That's just like the announcer right there.
Yeah,
I was with a lot of Tennessee fans, and that's every time that's what they would say. Just call him Nico.
It took me about a week and a half to figure out how to say Princely Uman Mielen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So all the announcer that has to do next year is just say, and the starting quarterback for your Tennessee Volunteers, Nico.
Nico.
And there was a kid.
Nico's changed his last name to Rocky Top.
Right. There you go. That'd be a whole lot easier.
Now, there's a kid sitting near us that looked a lot like him, and I thought it might have been family. Because he was sitting in the stands at one point, and then at one point before the game, he was down on the field walking around, and then he was back in the stands. I don't know how he got back and forth. I never actually saw him go back and forth.
You should have asked so you can get on the field.
Yeah, he was right there. If I'd known, but by the time he got back in the stands, the game was going. I couldn't go.
We'd have seen Jeb out there taking a snap.
So I thought about trying to rush the field afterwards, but nobody was with me on that. So,
yeah, Citrus Bowl was awesome, obviously. How was the Orange Bowl, Corey, besides a JV exhibition that probably shouldn't happen? That Kirby
beat
Smart
up on their scout team.
Yeah.
You had some guy that wore number 26 as a quarterback got into that game. If that tells you anything about how this game went. Will Muschamp's son got in, and the viral image from that game is Will Muschamp going nuts with his son breaking some tackles and getting like a first down on a quarterback run. So that game was incredible. All the big playmakers made their plays, and that was that. I mean, Carson Beck was throwing dimes and got to rest it after halftime. And then after the game, half the team declared for the NFL. So
they should. And my Peach Bowl was awesome. Ole Miss went into 4-minute offense in the game with about 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, and Penn State just looked on the sidelines. They just looked dejected. I think Florida State had better body language in the fourth quarter than Penn State did because they just got owned a little bit.
Well, Florida State was all the walk-ons that never play, so they're just excited to be out there.
Yeah. I mean, Penn State literally thought they were going to win that game, and Ole Miss could have scored 50 if they wanted to. Jackson Dart was unbelievable. They're going to be pretty good next year.
Yeah, after about the first quarter, I didn't see a point in that game where I thought Ole Miss was in danger of losing.
Yeah, Prieskorn had a freaking day, man.
Yeah, he really did, and I'm pretty fired up about that as well. Now that we got those out of the way and we did that in the first 10 minutes, let's spend about the next 50 minutes talking about the just horribleness that was the college football semifinal.
Oh boy, I've never seen that look in Jake's eye.
You talking about the Texas-Washington game, right?
You know what? Steve Sarkisian deserves a ton of blame because the last 4 plays called in that game, Texas should have won that football game.
Yeah,
that was a terrible last 4 plays. But no, I'm talking about the fact that Alabama 5 years ago had built an offensive machine that was just unstoppable. And they just phased that out and became a Big Ten team, unable to use tempo with no quarterback. They basically created a lesser version of Michigan, and that allowed Michigan to win the game. And you talk about bust. 4th and 2, 4th and 1, 4th and 2 against Alabama and Georgia is a trap. They want you to go for that because they are about to eat you up. They don't bust on 4th and 2. They bust and give the kid a 40-yard reception that leads to the tying touchdown to go send it in overtime. That game was set up to be a traditional Alabama game where they put the vice on you and just choke the life out of you. And then they just got so mistake prone and so un-Alabama-like that Michigan was able to seize all the momentum, got confidence, and by overtime, there was no doubt that Michigan was going to win this football game.
Jake?
I've already said my piece.
Yeah.
I mean, it's well, y'all probably hadn't heard it, but do I need a dip before the conversation? No, my stress relief is this dip, so I'm trying to quit drinking, but I probably should after that game. I definitely need to anyway. So where to start? Both sets of game plans I thought was terrible. It was poorly executed on both sides of the ball, but defensively, we had no pressure. There was no design blitz. We only had 1 sack in that game. We did not let our edge rushers, which has torn apart Michigan's offensive line this year. Look what Penn State did to them. And it didn't, we had no attack whatsoever. So
Becky's here in spirit.
No. Yeah. Hey, that's fine. Let me start by saying this. Yes, Alabama does have the most losses in the college football playoff, but we've been in it more than any other team has. So you're expected to have
it every time.
losses.
Yeah.
So, okay, and was Alabama one of the 4 best teams?
I think the committee got it right. Honestly, it was just.
They missed Georgia. I think they missed Georgia.
Georgia should have been in there, but that would have been our
chance. And we didn't.
But Alabama won that game. Honestly, this is all Auburn's fault. This is all Auburn's fault. If Auburn could defend a 4th and 31, this doesn't happen because Georgia would have been in the playoffs even with the loss of Alabama. If Alabama couldn't go. Because they weren't leaving an SEC team out. They weren't.
No.
And for money purposes, that game had 27.2 million viewers. The money poured into that Rose Bowl was incredible.
Can you imagine Florida State in that game?
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That would have been a blow.
That would have been sad. Yeah.
And I don't know how many people are going to watch the college football playoff or the championship game because of it's Michigan and Washington.
I am because Washington, this is the last Pac-12 game.
Right. Yeah.
And I would like for Washington it would be a storybook thing if a Pac-12 team won it all in the last year of its existence.
And for one more opportunity for Desmond Howard to chant Big Penix Energy.
Oh my gosh.
We
can't let that go to waste.
No.
He actually did that, Steve, on game day.
He did.
It was like 7th grade. Game day's gotten to be where it's a joke. Let's just be real.
It's a fun show.
But J.J. McCarthy basically admitted today that all the sign stealing stuff happened and it's okay to care and all of that. To the point where after practice today, J.J. McCarthy had to come out and say, "Oh, that's not what I meant." And it's like, okay, you got burned by that one. So everything.
Did he say that they had a resort to doing it because Ohio State was doing it, but he said Ohio State did it legally?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So we were protecting ourselves. It was just a horrible look, man.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's not gonna age well, man. But no, going back to Bama though, Jake, it's gotta be frustrating. and I want to pull this comment back up here. It's got to be frustrating when your center is just having an absolute nightmare of a game and can't get a snap back there. He got the 10 cut yips.
Yeah.
And just could not complete a snap. Milroe was shook. I thought Tommy Rees went into a shell. I don't know where, like, the team that showed up in the SEC championship, I don't know where that team is. That was probably the best Bama team all year, as far as game plan, execution, and just overall energy. This iteration of Bama didn't look like that. It looked more like the one that struggled and lost against Texas, the one that struggle win against Auburn and South Florida, and the one that kind of just moseyed through the season a little bit. And I was disappointed because I know Bama's better than that. I know I just don't know where all that came from and what, why they thought they were going to play right into Michigan's hand.
Yeah, you can check my Twitter timeline, my X timeline, whatever that's called, and go back there. And I was like, hey, I'm Tommy Rees, and it's like, I'm going to call this like a Mississippi Class 3A 7th grade football game. That is how we're going to call this game.
You did actually tweet that, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it looked like. Even whenever they were throwing the ball with Jalen freaking Milroe, who is probably the best athlete on the field, it was a 2-step drop, a 3-step drop from the pocket, and just let the Michigan Wolverines know exactly where he's going to be. As long as they were disciplined in their pass rush, they were going to be able to cause problems with it. The only time they put him on the move, they completed a 25-yard pass. Yeah. I can't get over how just shambolic it was. And this is the GOAT doing this. I have all the respect for the GOAT in the world. But Alabama teams do not make the critical mistakes and big moments that this Alabama team did.
Well, that last play, the fourth down debacle, that's what I'm going to call it from now on. It's just, like I said before we got on to Corey, to Stephen and Jeb, every play call goes through Nick Saban. You have Michigan who calls a timeout, then Alabama calls a timeout. So you got 5 minutes there to get a freaking play call in, and you called that play. And Nick Saban signed off on it. Bad
snap and Milroe panicked, dude. That's all that was, because it was there. If you watch,
if he would have ran to the left and followed, if he
would have followed his guard, he cartwheels in.
It was also an RPO. So the bad snap eliminated the RPO because the swing pass to the left was there too. It was a 2-on-2 situation to get in the end zone. And I would take Alabama in that situation, the running back all day with the athletes they have. Bad snap.
Bad snap. He just runs into a sea of bodies. Like he still could have got his eyes up and followed his guard and still would have. They had 2 touchdowns on that play.
Yeah.
And he chose neither.
Yeah, he missed them both.
And another thing that I think was a turning point in the game was right after halftime, Alabama gets the ball. They're driving, and then they have 2 bad snaps. Just boom, boom, kill momentum. I mean, Alabama goes up 2 scores there if they get in the end zone any given time there, or get a field goal. They go up 2 scores. So
2 scores, it's game over.
Right.
Yeah. Let's be real about something. I don't know if they can do this, but I think they can. I think this is in Tommy Rees's system. Because they've gone under center, I believe, a couple of times. In the second half, if they would have just lined up in the I formation and handed the ball off to Justice Haynes and those guys, who was getting 4 and 5 yards per carry, Alabama would have won the football game. They should have won the football game anyway. They just really, honestly, just choked at the end.
Yeah.
But if they would have just eliminated the pass game entirely, played 1985 football, they would have probably won the football game.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just kept trying to put the square peg in the round hole, that allowed Michigan to kind of hang around. Honestly, when Alabama was forced into a long field goal that made it 20-13, that is the point where Michigan had hope. If Alabama would have punched that in, it was over.
Yeah.
Michigan wasn't scoring twice.
They weren't. They weren't. But they can go down and get 1 to tie it up. So and they
did.
I thought, like I said, I thought overall the play calling was panicked. It was like it was like what you would see out of Notre Dame in their playoff games.
Oh my goodness, that is an excellent thing. How many times have we seen Notre Dame do this exact same thing in the playoff?
But Bama's too talented to get blown out.
Yeah.
But if Alabama was a little bit less talented, they would have gotten blown out the way they were playing. But they're just too talented for that. But yeah, they played. I felt like I was watching Notre Dame at times.
And I'm going to be honest about this too. And there's going to be some people watching this right now that's not going to agree with me. But Ole Miss, Missouri, and Tennessee would have beaten Michigan Saturday.
I think
Miss for sure.
Georgia definitely.
Ole Miss for sure. Georgia.
Oh, Georgia! That wouldn't even be
Georgia.
Yeah, we're not even talking about Georgia because Georgia's the best football team in the country. They just had a bad luck on the one day they couldn't have bad luck,
and they still should have got in.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the other three teams that they wouldn't ever think. It was just a situation to where one thing playing a Big Ten team, tempo is the number one thing that the SEC has on these Big Ten defenses. And Alabama just can't do it. They just gave it up. Mm-hmm. They just decided that the other 21 players they have is good enough. We're going to put an athletic quarterback, and that's going to be good enough to win games. They're okay with handling tempo. That's the reason that Alabama can handle Tennessee and Ole Miss. They've seen enough of it that they can handle it. Big Ten teams can't handle it. So Alabama has given up their offensive advantage over the Big Ten to, I don't know, I think Georgia broke them a little bit. After Georgia won the back-to-back national championships, Nick Saban said, we're going to do this my way and the way I want to do it. And he tried to revert back to some semblance of the way football was and the way he likes to coach it.
And that's the way Michigan plays, and it plays right into their hand. And I think Tommy Rees was calling plays for Tyler Buckner and not.
Well, here's the thing as well. One of the things that we heard when Tommy Rees became the offense coordinator was how he loved using tight ends in his system. Our tight ends got 3 total targets that entire game, and Amari Black and CJ Dupree. So he just he didn't trust the tight ends. It seemed like I don't know what the issue was.
They just didn't trust Milrow. Oh my,
you could tell, dude. Like he didn't trust anything.
Yeah,
I know that feeling. I know that feeling when you feel like you look at the play sheet and nothing's there, which is not true for Tommy Rees because a lot of stuff is there. He just doesn't realize he has superior players sometimes, and he panics and gets into a shell. It seems like.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand it, man. I really didn't. I was like, who is this Bama team? Like what? Like what are we doing here?
We reverted back to the Texas and USF game. That's what happened. Everything that we had problems with at those points, early in the season, it reverted back to Saturday or Monday, whatever.
Yeah, you would think in 4 weeks they would have figured out how to go fast. They know how to do it. I understand that Tommy Rees probably doesn't want to do that, but I'm team tempo now. I'm Ole Miss. I'm Lane Kiffin. Jeb is Josh Heupel and all of that stuff. We don't have these super athletes, but tempo is the great equalizer.
I love tempo
against a defense like Michigan's, like Penn State's, like Iowa's. You have to figure out a way to scheme some stuff open. And the way you can do it is to prevent their ability to match up, simplify their defense, and go really quick and hope for bust. And I honestly think if they would have went fast, if they would have just went fast in that game, even if they're running the football, Jalen Milrow would have broken one long touchdown run.
Oh, easily. Yeah. I mean, I like the idea. I'm kind of like the best of both worlds here. Like you guys love just tempo, right? Just go fast all the time. You glue the pedal to the floor. I like being able to control it and being able to go fast when you need to, go fast when you want to, and be able to slow it down and vary the tempo where defense can't get comfortable and adjusted to what you're doing.
Let me say 2 things. On one thing on the tempo is you got to have a quarterback that can run the tempo. See Auburn. they try to run tempo. They don't have a quarterback that can run it.
Yeah,
And then Michael, I wanted to, say a little bit about this. I'm not the type of guy that's going to berate Seth McLaughlin. He's moving on. I wish him the best of luck. I don't know. He come in like 2 years ago as a starter and played really, really great. He's blocking well, snapping well. I don't know what happened this year.
Got the yips, man.
He did, but I'm not going to be that type. I'm not going to be that type of guy who's going to bash a player and all that. I mean, it is what it is. So and I hope he does wherever he goes. I hope he balls out and earns an NFL job.
Yeah,
none of this is bashing players. Just
I understand. Players get the yips. I'm not after a player.
Right.
I'm talking about schematic
Who
stuff. This is stuff you can control.
Who have I bashed besides the coaches?
Yeah.
No, the coaches ought to be at fault for sure.
The coaches,
not the 18-year-old kids. They're just kids.
I'm not bashing the kid. I mean, he had a tough night, but that happens.
You had 4 weeks to come up with that. That is the problem I have.
And a spade is. I mean, Milroe missed it. Like I mean, it happens. I'm not bashing. I'm not saying the kid's a bad quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. He's really talented. But I didn't say he missed it. He's got
a lot to work on this offseason.
Okay, he's talented as a runner. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't bashed anybody.
But part of me wonders if Bill O'Brien was right about him as a quarterback. So many talked about before the game, the interview where Bill O'Brien talked about him maybe moving to running back and that they didn't see him as a quarterback. And that was motivation for Jalen Milroe. That was the big story going into game day that day.
Right.
And then that game happened to where Alabama's offense, they could not drop back. They could not do anything intermediate. The offensive line could not protect him enough to throw it down the field. So it basically eliminated the pass game.
You can't just drop back.
Yeah,
on Michigan, you can't do that.
There needed to be some stuff moving. That you need to get him outside the pocket. They should have run some hide plays to the tight end, to the X-Man rolling out, just dump it off. It's like a 4-yard pass. That's an easy completion. It gets you out of the pocket. Like I said, I don't understand why they thought it's like, okay, this is what we want to do. To me, it looks like, and the way it looked like on the outside is they dropped back, they got sacked. It's like, well, that didn't work. What do we have now? And it's like, I don't know. I have nothing.
You move the pocket. You put Jalen Milroe in situations that he's good at. Like he's a raw quarterback. Like he is not a polished quarterback. Not bashing the kid, Michael, but he's just not a polished quarterback. There's some things that he doesn't do well because he just hasn't had enough reps at doing them. And one of those things is drop back passing and reading the field and doing multi-level reads. Like he's just not that quite good at that yet. That's okay, but you got to put him in positions to where he can succeed so that he gives himself chances to be able to get reps at the stuff that he's not so good at, so that it's not killing you when he's not, when it's not working out well.
And I'll give Michigan credit. They come with a lot of late blitzes that really confuse the offensive line. So that's a big thing. And then offensively, they definitely watched that Auburn game against Alabama because Auburn ran a lot of motion, and Alabama just
would watch that game.
Yeah, I don't know. Alabama with motion they're doing too much of this. I mean, if the guy's lined up in front of you, that is your man. I don't care what kind of coverage you're in. If he's lined up in front of you, don't pass him off to somebody else. That is your guy, and you got to be on him the entire time.
They did. I have not seen an Alabama defense bust that many coverages.
I know
in 15 years.
It was brutal, man.
Yeah, it was horrible. And then credit to Michigan, they figured out how to scheme this up, and they saw something that SEC people obviously have not seen, and that the ability to do that. So props to the offensive coordinator at Michigan and all of that to get it done, because
Sharon Moore, that first touchdown play call was freaking amazing, dude. It was they call it traffic, and it's like this big super mesh where you get 3x1, and you just all 4 of them cross the field, and then the back sneaks through and pops out the other side, and he is just wide open.
He was,
and he gets. I mean, it's designed to where he gets lost and everybody goes with the mesh and the one corner stays and drives understandably down on the crosser. And next thing you know, that back is right behind you and boom, just if you get time, it's there.
Yeah. Somewhere Mike Leach was smiling after that game because Michigan meshed the hell out of them.
Yeah.
All night long.
Michael, I'm still you're still confusing me at like what you're talking about here. Like I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, just don't worry about it, Corey.
I have no clue. I'm just thoroughly I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. I'm not really bashing anybody, and I'm not really talking about
you're not. Don't worry about it, Corey.
The only thing I would say, about what happened, Michael, is for the kids, they didn't go out and execute at all. It was poorly executed game on both sides.
Yeah, I mean they just I just don't think I thought the game plan was the game plan probably was good. I don't think the adjustments were good.
Let's be honest, by the way. If this was Auburn and Maryland, if that same game was played by Auburn and Maryland in the Music City Bowl, everybody would have been talking about how bad the football was that got played.
Yeah.
It was not a clean game. There was bust all over the field. Michigan literally almost they muffed a punt and almost fumbled in the end zone and lost on a safety.
Rick.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Daniel. I'm following. Okay.
Yeah.
When I look at a play sheet, not know what will work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There are times where, like in high school, let me explain that comment a little bit. There are times in high school when it's just grossly overmatched and everyone in the stadium knows it. And it's just, you look over, you have 35 kids on your sideline. You look over and they have 85 kids and they're all, obviously they've all been hitting the weight room. And it just, you can tell sometimes, or sometimes there's tough nights where you just look down at your play sheet and you're just like, okay, I got nothing here.
Who scheduled this?
Yeah, it's Bama playing Valdosta State.
And Rick, Michigan's the one that put it in overtime. I mean, Alabama had a lead and with 4 minutes Michigan had to drive the entire field.
Yeah, Rick, I don't think you want to give Alabama credit for sending this in overtime. It's not a good thing.
Michigan had to drive the entire field. We had them in the third and 7-8 situation, and that's when that running back just got free for 40 yards.
No, it was 4th and 2.
That was 4th and 2. Okay, yeah. So, we have nobody to blame but ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael. It's like when you look over across the sideline, they have 4 D1 kids, and you're just like, there's no way we can stop this.
When I was in high school, by the way, and our football team was really good. We were the one that was the overmatching and on the football field, but that wasn't the case in the basketball field. And our high school team, the tallest player on it was 6'3", and we played against Quitman High School one night, and they had Antonio McDice and a couple other players, like 2 players on it that ended up in the NBA. And it was just like, okay, there's nothing we can do tonight. It's just not going to matter.
It's that feeling. It's not that our kids don't play hard. It's not that our kids aren't good. They're not NFL good.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not NBA good in that case. That's what we're talking about.
I saw a dunk that night from Antonio McDice I was like, okay, you're not supposed to be able to do that. That's not right. I thought he was going to hit his jaw on the rim.
My junior season in high school, we played against team North Clayton. I think they signed 12 guys, and 8 of them were D1. One of them being the quarterback that went to Georgia, won an SEC championship at Georgia, DJ Shockley. I
played against DJ Shockley.
Mm-hmm. I did.
Nice.
He was a good friend of mine, actually. Our dads coached together before my dad came to Fayette County. He was my dad's offensive coordinator, I think, before he left. But anyway, yeah. So DJ, here's a play. I was like, yeah, we're screwed. He was rolling. He's a right-handed guy. He was rolling to his left, and it's just towards our sideline. He was rolling towards his left, and he just He just twists his body and flicks it. Like doesn't even follow through, just flicks it about 65 yards on a rope to a wide open guy, catches it, walks in. I'm like, we have no chance.
Yeah.
We're screwed.
Hey, Daniel, I'll throw you a bone right here. I lost 4 games in high school playing high school football at McGee. One of those games was at but against little 2A Taylorsville. The Taylorsville Tartars beat the mighty McGee Trojans. That was one of my 4 losses that I had in high school. And I think it was my only regular season loss was to Taylorsville. So I will give you credit for that. That they play some ball down there. I think that is in Smith County. That might be in Jones County, but yeah, they're legit.
Now this guy here is from Taylorsville. They play 2A. We're from McGee. We play AAA.
Yeah, and I didn't play against him, but my high school a few years ago played against Chad Darius Townsend, who committed to Alabama from Tanner, and I think he's with the Red Raiders now, Texas Tech. But he was really good. I mean, he's really fast. We're 2A school, and Tanner's like one of the bigger 2As down here, and he just ran all over us.
Yeah, my first and only year at Blackman High School when I coached there was Juwan Jennings' senior year.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
I bet.
We went down to Hoover that year. We played down in Hoover.
Oh, you played Mighty Hoover.
Yeah, that was a fun game. We went 9-1 that year. That was our only loss, was Hoover.
My senior year, we played in the state championship game against Louisville, not Louisville, Louisville. And which, by the way, if you play Louisville in the state championship game, be somewhere else because they're probably going to beat you. They had a D1 defensive end that signed with Ole Miss. Okay. Our left tackle could not pass block. I still think to this day, my quarterback that we had in that game has PTSD from how he just repeatedly got ate up in that game. That was Morris Scott, the defensive end. But
would
yeah,
you say they were a rolling ball of butcher knives?
That night they were. They had that, and they had a D1 running back in Mon Nicholson that also went to Ole Miss, and we were like, not there. We had a player that went to Southern Miss, but
our kicker went to NC State and got picked up. He was this close to being Mr. Irrelevant. Got picked up in free agency by the Lions. Tore his ACL in warm-ups of the first preseason game and never went back to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. A kicker tearing the ACL. That's a move that you just have to respect, honestly.
He was it was that turf, man. No. It was that turf, man. He'd never really kicked on that turf because he played at NC State. I don't think they ever played a turf game there.
Believe it or not, you can look over my shoulder. There's a picture of me kicking in Veterans Memorial Stadium in Jackson, Mississippi against Mendenhall High School. I went down to kicking camp when I was in high school. It's like when I was 10th grade, and I went down to Tulane because I love New Orleans. It's one of my favorite cities in America. But they had the old style turf, not the stuff they have now. Yeah, just the straight AstroTurf, like Brady Bunch front yard AstroTurf, and literally planting and just kicking a football. I probably kicked 50 balls that day.
Yeah.
I could feel my ligaments in my plant leg. I could feel that like I was aching from just planting. And I was like, yeah, I can see why Wendell Davis tore both ACLs at the vet right now.
That's weird.
I did a punt, pass, and kick at the old.
I'll be right back.
When they
go ahead.
Yeah, it sounds like your dogs are. But I heard I did the punt, pass, and kick every year, and they had the finals at Georgia Tech. And when they had the old carpet, that was a lot of fun. And like they did it during pregame.
Yeah, it was nuts. Before we get into picks, though, let's talk a little bit about the Washington Texas game.
Penix stole the show.
Penix was awesome. Washington's very good. I enjoyed watching that football game. Texas should have won it. The last 4 plays were almost malpractice by Sarkisian. Yeah,
but then again, I thought Washington had chances to put them away too on the other side of that coin. So I thought that was just a very evenly matched, like really good, solid football game. I mean, there was some sloppiness to it, honestly. With some of the stuff you're going to get with being on a 30-day layoff, but I thought Penix was incredible. I thought the offensive line was physical and they came off the ball. I thought Washington did a lot of really, really good things in that game.
Yeah, Dylan Johnson from, I think it might be Greenville St. Joe in Mississippi, the running back for the Washington Huskies. He keeps hurting his foot, and he only has 1 week to get ready for the Michigan Wolverines, and they need him to be healthy because they need Michael Penix to have something like a stress relief valve to where they can cut the water on so it's not all on his shoulders. So we'll see how Dylan Johnson is in that game. Because if they have Dylan Johnson, I kind of like the Washington Huskies against Michigan. If they don't have Dylan Johnson, I'm leaning Michigan Wolverines.
They need Mr. Miyagi in a big way.
I just know Jaden Daniels has to be happy that the Heisman is handed out before the bowl games. Because I think Penix would have taken it from him.
Penix would have definitely taken it from him. And I thought if it wasn't Jaden Daniels, it should have been Penix. But Jaden Daniels had such a ridiculous season.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels would have put 500. If the Heisman was still out and he was playing football in the bowl game, Jaden Daniels would have put 500 yards on Wisconsin. He just would have. Yeah. I think it's recency bias there. Penix is good. He deserves where he is, but the best player in college football was Jaden Daniels.
No doubt.
That was it. Certainly wasn't the defense at LSU.
No.
It certainly wasn't.
They fired everyday in the least surprising thing ever.
Working on that.
Yeah. Oh Lord, man.
Since we're going back over SEC, I tagged or starred a comment from earlier from Michael. He wants us to talk about the Freeze postgame presser. What he said.
Blaming it on recruiting. Yeah, that'll get you far.
Yeah, we're sitting with the number one portal class in the country. We're getting just about everybody that we want, but yet we still put together a game plan out there that just ripped apart the number one defense in the country. Hugh Freeze, that's kind of full of crap. That's kind of like being the losing team and blaming all the opt-outs or something like that. It's just a situation where if it works, it's you get credit for. If it doesn't work, it's not your fault. That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
And he got pushed around by Maryland. Let's just be real about this.
Without Talia.
Without Talia.
And I was impressed with the quarterback. He looked pretty good in that game.
Yeah.
Vandy got one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Who did Vandy get?
Stephen Lasoya, guard.
Okay. You also got Jeremiah Dillon.
We did. Mm-hmm. And Steve, I think you're coming on to Locked On Vandy to talk about Jeremiah Dillon.
That is factual. That is the case. I like Jeremiah Dillon. I think he would have been a very good receiver. He just wasn't going to get on the field. Next year, Ole Miss is probably going to have the best wide receiving room in the whole country.
Yeah.
And so
that's like Jackson Meeks at Georgia. He just he's a really, really good receiver. He's going to be really good at Syracuse. He just couldn't crack the lineup.
Yeah.
Was on the dirty internet instead of prepping the team. Yeah, he was recruiting.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze feels like the guy that's on like the knockoff Ashley Madison website instead of actually doing his job.
He's taking a page out of Jeb's playbook.
Wait, Jeb, really?
Yeah.
Ashley Madison?
No, I'm talking about the dirty the dirty internet.
Googling what he shouldn't have.
Yeah. Freeze isn't allowed to Google.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, nobody has commented about it, so I'll talk about it. But if you look over my left shoulder, there's a white book up there.
I saw that.
Do y'all want to read the headline and what that book says? Can you?
I can only see gun safety.
Yeah, I see gun safety is awesome.
Let's see.
How to talk to your cat about gun safety? Oh my gosh!
Did you write that, Steve?
I have a cat visiting. How do I explain gun safety to my cat?
Yeah.
It's in the book. It's written down. How to talk to your cat about gun safety.
They're staying in a room that has guns in the closet, so I probably should.
What is that thing in the bottom, your bottom left there, the foam paw thing?
That is my Detroit Tigers.
Oh, that's
my phone like Grrr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
Because you're a lifelong Detroit Tigers fan.
Yes, I've been a lifelong Tigers fan.
And
John, your OC was
a
a Broyles finalist. That's all I'm going to say.
I want to say, since we're talking about Detroit, and we're going to get to NFL real quick, but I think the Lions got screwed. And
we got screwed, man. I went over it in the pregame, man.
Yeah. I mean, the guy they said that reported in was 10 yards away from the ref when he was running to the field to report in. I mean, they
put the billboard up there. It's like they had like the 11-6 record, and it changed it to 12-5. And there's one that said so and so reported, and it's like Detroit's hot. Oh my goodness, they're mad.
Yeah.
And listen to this. This is the whole thing. Whenever you talk about the NFL being rigged, and everybody talks about that, just makes jokes about it. Whenever on Jimmy Johnson Day,
yes,
on Monday Night Football, special football, that happens to help the Dallas Cowboys
win.
Come on, on.
Right.
It's WWE, man. That's all it is.
Yeah.
WWE.
That was wild.
Yeah.
And Dan Campbell is playing the part to the T.
I like him as a coach. He's pretty funny.
I love Dan.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite coaches. And like that season of Hard Knocks that he was on was one of my favorites.
Yeah, he was a tight end on the Detroit team that went 0-16.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. He was on 2 seasons of Hard Knocks, actually. Your boy Sean Payton scooped him up after he left the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Showed him the ropes.
Sean Payton's dead to me.
Oh, that's a...
He screamed at Russell Wilson, doesn't he? Scream at everybody?
He screamed at everybody. Kevin James is not doing well right now.
Denver's improving just slowly.
Yeah. And the Saints need to fire Dennis Allen, and that'll get me back on board. But until then, I'm going to watch the Dolphins get beat by 50 points to the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh,
they do need to fire Dennis Allen.
They're falling apart. And Tyreek Hill's house was burning down today. That was a whole story.
Chiefs, Eagles, all falling apart right now. Eagles can't stop nobody on defense.
It's the end of a long NFL season. Teams are like, it's just fatigue season.
Yeah. Pretty much.
This stuff happens every year. Like I don't know why I'm surprised.
I mean, they're still fighting for a playoff. Titans ain't. So,
the Dolphins will be fine. The Ravens are still good. The Eagles will be fine. The 49ers will be fine. They will be in the thick of it. They will probably be playing each other in the NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Book it.
Honestly, I'm gonna be disappointed if the Titans win this week.
Who they got?
Jacksonville,
that's how much
maybe.
Yeah, that's how much I remember.
Starting Malik Willis.
Yeah, we just I think we drop out of the top 10 in picks if we win. We
Jeb's like Iowa. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't. They might not be able to score against Iowa.
Jeez. Yeah, it's fine. I think NFL fans just want to make a big to do about nothing. Vandy got a punter today, by the way.
Oh,
well,
Jesse
like
Mirko.
Iowa, that probably would make sense.
Yeah,
Jesse Mirko from Ohio State.
Oh, so we don't know if he can punt. Well, actually, Ohio State is terrible this year. So yeah,
they probably did punt a little bit.
He's like Brett Thorson. He just needs an opportunity.
Corey, did a light go out on your screen? Because you look a little bit dimmer than what you were earlier.
Oh.
There we go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
It's probably the website I was looking at.
Okay. Now you're the one who's looking at the websites.
It was X. Just
yeah.
Twitter.
Okay, Daniel Parker.
I'm on dark mode. Okay.
Judkins does not have to say anything. He does not have to announce a single thing. Okay. Tomorrow is the last day that a player from Ole Miss can enter the transfer portal. So if Judkins does not go into the portal tomorrow, he's not going anywhere. It doesn't matter if he announces or if he doesn't, because he can't
enter the portal draft.
Yeah, why would he?
He's the starter.
Because somebody might pay him $1.5 million or some obscene amount. Everybody's worried about that.
I mean,
nobody's overpaying for a running back.
No,
they're not.
Plus, I don't think Ole Miss is hurting on money. Y'all bought a lot of players.
Heck yeah. Everybody be quiet. We got poor people around.
Yes. Well,
Michael,
plus, he's
a lifelong
already
Cowboys fan like Steve's a lifelong Tigers fan.
for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lifelong Cowboys fans since 2000.
We got poor people around. But actually, by the way, I was listening to a song on Spotify by Midland, and one of the lines in there was Jerry Jones bought it. And it was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones is rich.
Mm-hmm.
He has a few dollars.
Yeah.
But they can't win the playoff. It's weird.
Yeah.
Speaking of rich people, did you see David Tepper throw a drink on some fans?
Yeah, probably should have. They probably deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, he only got fined $300,000. Like, well, you only make $40,000. You know, I mean, come on.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. That's like 10 years worth of money to you.
Yeah, that's true.
That's like a afternoon for him.
Yeah,
he's a billionaire.
Yeah, and then that's fine, but that doesn't change the fact that it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
it is a lot of money.
Yeah. People are kind of crybabies about stuff like that. But anyway, we got about 8 minutes left. Let's do picks. National championship.
Pick.
Last
one of the season.
Pick.
Yes.
You know, if Jeb gets this one correctly, he is going to hit 100.
When Jeb gets this one correctly, he's going to hit 100.
But let me say, if something happens in the future and all these wins gets vacated, then if Jeb goes with Michigan, that win gets vacated. So,
hey, since never mind. Damn it. Okay, I can't.
Every position is. There's no way that this next game can affect what's going on. Jeb is going to win picks. Right now, he's 99-71. I'm second, 96-76. No, these numbers don't add up. Don't try to make them. Cassidy is third at 93-79. Jake is fourth at 91-81. It wasn't too long ago. Jake was in second place. Corey has got over 500. He is almost very lucky, Jake is, that Corey couldn't catch him in the national title game, but he's about a game and a half above that. And the voice of God comes in at 83 and 88. That was the winner of last year's picks.
Bowl season was very good to me.
Bowl season was terrible for me. I don't think I had a winning week. It was rough.
Let's see.
No, our voice of God went out on a limb a bunch of times. They didn't work out.
Yeah, I went 11-4. Last year.
You had a good
7 and 8 or something.
I missed both semifinals, Louisville and SMU.
I went 9-6.
Well, all missed both semifinals. That was ridiculous. Yep, that's where Becky is.
Yep.
Yeah, I went 2-5 in week 1, 6-7 in week 2, and week 3 I went 7 and 8. So I did not have a winning record in bowl season at all. Oh, where's Becky? At the bottom. Ooh.
Now we're singing her song. Nobody knows.
Dang, no, this ain't the last. It's the last college football show, but we're still talking about college football and everything else. But we'll be here every single week. I won't be here next week because the birth of my baby is going to be next Wednesday. So
what?
Nice, congratulations! Although I like the timing on that. We'll be here every week. I won't be here next week.
Yeah,
good back to back. Good segue into that.
That's right. Yeah,
but still, no, congratulations.
Every Wednesday we go, even during basketball season, even during football season. And
are we going to do another mini series like we did?
Yes.
Okay. We decided what we're doing yet.
Whenever. We don't know quite yet, but I want to do I think we should do Major League or maybe Bull Durham or something like that.
A movie?
Yeah, just do a movie.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Just do sports movies.
Okay.
Sports.
Sports.
We can. I just saw a series on Netflix that was amazing called Blue Eye Samurai. So if y'all want to watch that.
You're not allowed.
It's animated.
You're not allowed to pick movies.
It's animated.
It's animated. Okay,
but it's it's like an adult anime thing, but it's really good. Really good. I had low expectations and I was blown away.
Huh? Yeah, if you got low expectations,
Cassidy, good luck.
Well, I'm not a huge anime person. So.
She made it. I thought she was asleep.
Hope all is well.
Believe me, Cassidy, we're always sad at this time of year.
Yeah. There ain't nothing like college football. I don't care how crazy they're getting.
I try to focus on NFL, but it's just not the same.
Right.
Now that
our
my
Stewart's
fantasy
Cajun Dill Pickles picks, our last one of the college football season, you got Michigan a 4.5-point favorite over Washington, and it's an interesting situation. How do you want to do this time, Corey?
How do I want to do this? Well, we'll just start with you, Steve.
Well, this situation, I watched the Washington-Texas game, and the offense, once it got going, there was no chance for the Texas Longhorns. Honestly, they were just run the football and not throwing a pass away from putting that game away in regulation. But even before the last drive by Texas, when they got down and really should have won the football game, I think Washington does need Dylan Johnson to be available. I think that Michael Penix needs to be really sharp, and they need to play with tempo. That is the kryptonite for the Big Ten, is playing with tempo. If Washington does that, they're going to win the game outright, not just cover the spread. Give me the Washington Huskies.
Yeah, I just think they're going to be, like you said, Steve, tempo's going to crush Michigan. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think Michael Penix is going to be too much for Michigan, and it's going to get ugly. Not ugly, but it'll. I think Washington will move up and down. They'll wear them out, and then they'll end up winning. Just the war of fatigue and conditioning.
And how cool would it be for a Pac-12 team to actually win the national championship on the last game of the Pac-12? That'd be pretty cool.
And that would be, yes, a storybook ending, which is exactly why it's not going to happen. I just in real life, it's just that kind of stuff just doesn't happen. I wanted Alabama and Texas to have their rematch, but of course that's not going to happen either. You know what's going to happen? The team that cheated their way through this and is going to lose their coach after the season in the NFL, they're the ones that are going to end up winning, because that's just how that works. So I'm taking Michigan on this one. But I will say this about Michigan. I've not been a huge believer in them this season. I know I feel like their schedule was easier than everybody gave them credit for. But I do think they really did show me something this weekend. I think they really are a team that can not panic, can come from behind, actually still, pick up and win the game. I know a lot of that was on Alabama messing up, but it was also Michigan seizing the moment and doing what they did. And they impressed me enough that I think they will still beat Washington, who is a good team, and I love Michael Penix, but I think Michigan is just a better team all around and will end up winning that game.
The thing that hurt Alabama against Texas early on in the season was, I remember that defensive front was just all over our offensive line. Now, our offensive line got a little bit better as the season progressed, but in that game, defensive line of Texas just dominated Alabama up front. And when I watched the game the other night, I didn't get to watch all of it because I had to go to work the next day, and it was already like 11 o'clock, and they're still going. I was like, good God. Washington's offensive line really impressed me. They slowed down that defensive front of Texas, and I'm like, okay, I think they can do it against Michigan as well. So I'm taking Washington, and Casti is as well.
And the voice of God, who is number 6 in the standings, but as we all know, she dominates when it comes to picks, is going to take the Washington Huskies in this game. Let's go, Dogs. Becky Willis takes the Washington Huskies.
So that means Jeb's going to win.
Yeah. Nobody has faith in Michigan. I love it.
Jeb's going to be 99-72 or 171. So it's all right on this, Jeb.
Nice.
And when it comes to NFL, when we start talking about that, I also won in fantasy football this year. Champion. Oh, well, in one league, I played in 3, but that's not the point. One league, champion.
Who's your main player on that?
God, who was the wide receiver last week that got me like 50 points and then didn't play this week? He pissed me off so much. God, now I'm blanking on his name. I'd have to look it up. But no, as quarterbacks, I used Matthew Stafford, who had a surprisingly good year, kind of under the radar, just really good year at quarterback. I think I also had, because it's a 2-quarterback league, which I don't like. So I'd never liked this league much. But I also had Russell Wilson, who didn't have a great year. But that's all right. Because like I said, Matthew Stafford was carrying me. CeeDee Lamb had a big game.
Yeah,
I like him a lot.
CeeDee Lamb had 200 yards receiving last week, I think.
Yeah, and he's one of them that won the game. So I don't know. I've got so many players because I've got different people on every team. So Jonathan Taylor, also Amon-Ra St. Brown, another good one.
Yeah.
But I had to put in David Njoku. That's how you say it?
Njoku.
Njoku. Oh, I'm sorry. In this league, it's not Russell Wilson. It's Jordan Love, who had a big game.
Yeah,
he was actually the one that won it for me. So at the end, I was like 10 points behind, but Jordan Love, the only player left to go, and he scored like 30 points. So
nice.
So I won big. Yeah, it was nice. It was fun.
All right, Corey, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Let's roll. All right. This has been SEC After Dark. We look forward to continue on this journey, even after football season, into basketball, baseball season. If you want to catch us talking about movies and TV, check us out on the After Dark commentary series that we run. Different set, same for doofuses here. But you can catch Jeb on that and that only. He hasn't yet to do his other thing. You can catch Jake at Tide Talk Live. You can catch Steve and Willis at Locked On Ole Miss, and tomorrow on Locked On Vandy. You can check me out on Locked On Vandy, Bleav In Georgia Dawgs, and seasonally Illegal Motion, which is not running right now because it's not football season. That's a college football podcast. So that being said, we are SEC After Dark. We are presented by DeadSoxy, Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, and BetOnline.ag. We thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page. Find us wherever you find your podcast, and find us all on social media. We'll be glad to chop it up with you. We thank you for being on with us. It couldn't happen without you. And with that, we'll get into the rest of the week. Good night. Go Dogs, and anchor down.
Hotty toddy.
Go Vols.